presence known right about now.
And I think it will, you know. You have a guy like Phelps also returning to the lineup. Back when he was first brought in, there was a lot of, I would say, wariness about him, whatever he was mature enough, whatever he could cope with the pressure. He was playing okay back then, but I think he matured a lot in his stint away from MIBR. So the fact that you're bringing him back in, we know the individual quality he has. Taco as well, maturing in Liquid, learning stuff from Liquid, learning English. There's so many good factors to this MIBR lineup.
Well, the factors all have to come into play now, and so do all of the equations that your mind can't compute. MIBR versus Cloud9. We're kicking off here on Inferno with Jason Mozo, Tool, and Vince Hill.
A little bit of a reunion tour for this MIBR lineup. Don't forget, back in 2017, this 5 players won, I think it was something like, I think it was actually 6 tournaments in a row, maybe 5 tournaments in a row, but they were a pretty dominant force, just not able to have any kind of longevity. And this Cloud9 lineup, a really, really tough challenger stage, didn't impress anybody, even though they were a pretty impressive squad at E-League just a few weeks prior.
Yeah, a lot of the hype that came in after them actually taking them up away from FaZe and narrowly losing to them in the grand finals pretty much fell flat. But Zelsis, a player that in his very first round, of course, pulled off that sick pistol clutch, is now going to be eyeing up the possibility of doing it all over again in a new stage. He's over on the B side. He's not going to see action because it's going to be an A hit from MIBR with Taco taking point, but the headshot's being delivered. Rush with 2 in quick succession. The bomb's been dropped. And so will MIBR more than likely. Fallen is going to bounce back with one of his own, but he's instantly dealt with, courtesy of Kirishima's USP. And now Flirt 1-4. No control of the bomb. Surely no hope to clutch this. No hope to give the Brazilians a winning start in this best of 1. Flirting. While there is a flanker now in the midst, it's going to be Zelsis. If Flirt doesn't get killed soon, it's going to be Cloud9's round anyway. And they pounce just a little bit sooner. Good start for the CTs. Yeah, a really good start, especially on an individual level for Rush, because he has kind of struggled a little bit recently. He's one of those players where if he's able to kind of step up in this team, if he's able to kind of hit that peak that we know he has, then they're going to be very, very dangerous. But he has kind of struggled to find consistency within this 5-man lineup. Either way, this is a great pistol. I mean, those kills come out quick enough before MIBR can close the gap on the USPs. That's beautifully done. There's a lot of eyes, a lot of people holding their breath on this MIBR lineup. We saw Fnatic go for their own reunion of a lineup after that Godsend split just a few years back, and they weren't able to reignite the magic. Flusha was part of that team, and now MIBR trying to do it. And the tough part is, you spend so much time with Taco on Team Liquid, has to change the way he plays, change the way he approaches and thinks about the game. Phelps spends a lot of time off this roster, and then you come back and things are never going to be exactly the same as they were. And you've got to find a new winning recipe.
The game's kind of moved on, and the teams have too, right? Like Astralis are now far stronger than they ever were back then. Liquid have rose to prominence.
Yep. Here we go. All 5 players for MIBR in Banana. Plenty of utility. They've got 3 smokes, 4 flashbangs to utilize. Kiyoshima and Zelsis are playing for the retake. They want to get a couple kills on the entry. There's the first one. Zelsis is going to drop off. There goes Kyo. Zelsis has got to be careful. They're circling behind him, but the rotation comes in. Automatic takes great damage. At least going to be a plant for this MIBR side. How much more can they do? Zelsis is tagged now. Cloud9 needs to be patient. Wait for all 4 players here. You have Rush coming in on the flank up Banana.
There is danger if Cloud9 don't take this seriously. Coldzera and Fallen very capable of taking this and making a clutch out of it. It's going to be down to Fallen. Scout to the back of the side, can't get the second. That should be the round done. And Zelsis with a drive by MP9 will get Cloud9 their second round.
You're right, though. It was a bit sketchy. The plant 2 kills, that's not bad for MIBR whatsoever. Even in a world falling with that scout could have done way more damage. A win was probably just out of reach for him, but even just 1 or 2 more kills could have been so detrimental to Cloud9 moving forward. Either way, they sustain. They convert the pistol round. And even with that plan, MIBR gonna have to sit this round a little bit back. Deagle's being purchased up. Not only Phelps returning to the roster, Zeus, longtime coach of the Brazilians. Coach when they won, or the core of this lineup won their 2 majors. Moves on to Team Liquid as instrumental in their rise to the top of the Counter-Strike world. And now he heads back to the family.
I mean, all the foundations are there for MIBR to be a world contender again, but
There's still question marks out there, which we're looking for the answers for currently. Flashbang affords Phelps an opportunity, but it's just going to be a bit of chip damage to Zelsis. Loses 19 in total. Flashbang out onto Arch. Kiyashima they try and hold down with Zelsis, but they decide to pull back. Don't want to get overwhelmed or swarmed.
It's the good decision to make. Obviously, they don't know how much utility MIBR has, but we can see that there's absolutely none on this T side. So you're going to have to rely on the Deagles to find a pick, on Phelps with that CZ to do some kind of a crazy entrance into the B bomb site. So really, there's no advantages if Cloud9 kind of stay back and just play really strong fundamentals. A bit scary as well. Automatic almost isolated all on his own, and oh, back-to-back headshots. Fur and Coldzera each get a kill on the different sides of mid. And Rush is left alone in pit, and he's had a good start, a great pistol round, but this is so much to do. Cloud9 is collapsing. They're crumbling this defense. MIBR, this onslaught is brutal. Rush can do nothing, and the round is lost.
Kyo can do nothing either. Gonna have to hold on to this Org. With his save weapon, maybe there'll be some options, but off the back of 2 Desert Eagle headshots, this round quickly turned. Became venomous for Cloud9. MIBR will be claiming their first, and in doing so, will pick up a couple of Orgs. They got a FAMAS, a UMP. Their economy takes a giant step forward. Great news for the Brazilians. Not so much if you're a Cloud9 fan, because establishing that dominant economy on the CT side of Inferno is such an integral part of getting a solid amount of rounds on this half, and that's already been cut away.
Oh, that's a little bit of a hitch in this Cloud9 defense. They did not want to endure something like that. Great shots from Fur and Coldzera in mid. Pretty much like synchronized fragging.
Yeah, within a second of each other. There you go. In fact, less than that. A millisecond. Crossfire entry frags. Not something you see every day.
Yeah, they're like, we're so good, we're gonna make it fancy as well. So that is that's tough. That's gonna put you back a little bit if you're Cloud9. 3 SMGs in the defense. Kiyashima has the AUG and the kit that he saved from the previous round. Some players, you could see actually 3 players really late getting out of CT spawn. They're fortunate MIBR isn't going for a fast play towards Banana.
Automatic still back at spawn buying for quite some time at the beginning of this round.
I'm not sure if they were trading weapons. There might have been some miscommunication on which of him and Zelsis was taking the UMP and which was going to have the CZ. But yeah, I mean, they're fortunate they don't get punished for that, but maybe a late call for the buy coming in. 2-1. You have to remember as well, this is still a very new lineup this Cloud9 team is competing with. We've seen them... We've seen the good and the bad and the ugly from this Cloud9 roster.
Absolutely. Normally, this would all get ironed out over online matches, lower tier events, not necessarily on the grandest stage of all.
Yeah.
So you're really seeing the growing pains of this Cloud9 roster.
MIBR's taking this round so slow. They still have plenty of utility. Cloud9 obviously not challenging for a whole lot of map control, but there's 38 seconds left, and still MIBR is spread across the map. Bomb is in Banana. This almost feels like they want to turn it into a B-split when that smoke fades, but actually they just re-smoke on the left side of mid. Automatic has cheated over towards the B-bomb site, and with this late, Cloud9 has to be careful how they rotate. 20 seconds now.
Yeah, the wraparound is in effect. It is going to be the B split. Now all the pressure on the 2 very lonely, isolated B defenders. Time is running scarce though. Kiyashima could light this round up for Cloud9. Nearly landing headshots. 5 seconds. Bomb does get planted. Zelsis is afforded the chance to strike though in the shadows of the smoke. It was scrappy, it was laboured, but it seems that MIBR have got it just about done. This retake is still very much a possibility. No one's going to check out Flush it. No one was watching Garden. Phelps caught with a Molotov out. Fur's been dropped to just 23. He's been finished off. And this could be a complete disaster for MIBR. Taco is the last to fall. And there's going to be enough time to defuse, I think. So Cloud9 have done it.
That is a real head scratcher from MIBR. They're lucky to even get that plant down. Zelsis is in a perfect position. Obviously, the smoke plant was effective. Zelsis couldn't find the right angle, but in another world, he lands that kill and the round's over, and Cloud9 doesn't even have to fight for it. The retake comes in, 2 players on coffins, and no one is watching for that peak. Flusha able to take down Fallen long range, who thought he was covered. Mistakes there from MIBR early on, so Cloud9, they're given a little bit of time to breathe, up 3-1. It's another full buy coming in for MIBR. Ooh.
It seems like I was possessed.
You ever listen to yourself in slow motion?
I can't say I have. It was an experience.
Yeah, it was something. It'll haunt your dreams.
That round will certainly haunt MIBR's dreams too if they can't get a hold of this half. Because that really should have been theirs.
We have to remember that as well. I mean, as much as this is kind of a lineup coming back together, you still have to almost just forget about the fact that they played together, you know, almost 2 years ago, and just say this is a new lineup as well. There's going to be growing pains.
Phelps chunked down to 50. Oh, that grenade.
That's a beastly nade.
50% evaporates in the blink of an eye. Great utility right off the bat of Cloud9. Flash into peak, but Taco holds down the trigger and lands the headshot onto Rush. But another grenade, this time chunking Taco. 3 separate grenades, all worth their weight in gold at this stage.
Oh, what a godlike play from Taco, recovering while blind. Another flashbang comes in, and he's not going to get a second chance of that. Automatic's going to be under so much pressure. Cloud9 have not rotated anyone back. That's great aggression from Flusha to get the information. Flashbang going to come out. Automatic looks the other direction. This isn't a split towards the B bomb site. They're going to attack A. Automatic waiting patiently, trying to dodge bullets. Now getting secured in the site. Flusha as well, not exposed from Rap side. So MIBR had him on the ropes for a moment, but now this gets more difficult.
It's a great smoke. It pulls away Kishima, but he just sprays through the smoke all the same. Claims 2 kills, and that is the round-turning moment. Cloud9, off the back of a very sketchy start, have got a 4-1 lead now.
And listen, it's still early. I don't want to sound the alarm bells just yet, but this MIBR does not seem confident in what kind of plays are coming out. 17 seconds left. They're slow playing these so much. And running into trouble. Kiyoshima able to get the double kill through the smoke. And MIBR is going to be forced to back on to pistols. Not enough money, sitting right around 2,000 for the majority of their players. You mentioned it as well. A lot of, as we saw on Inferno previously and earlier today, and as we see frequently, utility determines a lot, and Cloud9 has done a great job of finding, as I say that, utility damage in the early stages of each round.
I think in the last one, Jason, they did nearly 200 damage just off grenades.
Yeah, we saw 3 separate nades at the very least do about 50 damage to a couple different players, so that makes things so much easier when the hits do eventually come in.
This round is no different. Fallen, Phelps. Both been tagged heavily. Coldzera narrowly misses out on that one, but it's going to be replenish smoke in mid. Will funnel MIBR through Boiler if they want to push it. Probably to their demise if they were so inclined. Banana control being established. Meanwhile, for Cloud9, Zels is having a quick peek down there with his AK-47. As soon as he hears that deagle, you've got to be weary. You don't want to peek too many times. It is one way for the Brazilians to get back into this. There's a flashbang. Going to force MIBR away. Now they're going to start to push. And I like the decision for Zelsis to pull back. Again, you just don't want to get overwhelmed and give some guns away.
Well, we saw it happen on the second round, I think it was, or the third round, excuse me. Those 2 deagles up mid, but definitely with the time at 30 seconds, no reason to continue to take the fight that deep in Banana. Force them to commit. And again, MIBR content to let this clock run down. Automatic's actually out of position, but Flush is going to be here, and he's going to be fine. Automatic just needs to be careful. That's an AWP. You don't want to lose that weapon. 10 seconds, and all of MIBR needs to die to get the bonus money, and they will do it. No damage dealt by the Brazilians in that round. Everyone from Cloud9, it's a flawless victory.
Without MIBR dipping in to their finances, we'll be able to bring out 4 AKs, a Galil, plenty of grenades, but it's really the manner in which they've been losing some of these rounds that is starting to spark a little bit of confusion.
We haven't seen that like trademark Brazilian flair where you're seeing, you know, coldzera hit some stunning headshots. Fur with his aggression. Fallen hasn't had the AWP yet. Will be interesting to see how that changed. Definitely a new look for the defense. 4 players at this B bomb site. They're just going to abandon Flusha to do his own work, and he's got 1. Taco's at about half HP as well. Automatic finds Fallen. That's over towards the A bomb site. He's the sole defender as well. A pretty important kill to grab on the aggression from Automatic. But banana control in the favor of Cloud9.
Excellent call too, because at this stage you'd think MIBR would maybe push in. If they pushed on A, they'd already have the site pretty much enveloped at this stage. So throw in the nades, rotate a player around. 1 for 2 trade, not bad for Cloud9 at all, and Taco has also been heavily damaged. Bomb still in banana though for the Brazilians.
We've seen this frequently as well with Cloud9. If this might be very well be a lot of your first times watching Zelsis within this lineup. New player, not a whole lot known of him, especially outside of the North American region. Cloud9 has a lot of faith in him. They put him in anchor positions on bomb sites. You'll see him on the T side, frequently playing solo, going for opening kills. Keo even rotating away back towards CT spawn. Celsius has 1 flashbang to use. Keo on the way back. That flashbang needs a delay, and it looks like in front of the bomb site plant again for MIBR.
Celsius going to get the freebie onto Taco alongside Kiyoshima. Again, time scarce. Not really enough for coldzera to do much with. And tries he might through the coffins. There's a second player there. Okay, now it's going to get interesting. First got the second frag. 2-on-2 retake. In terms of HP, it favors Cloud9, but Automatic pulls out a grenade, leaving Rush with it all to do. Both players have been tagged. Pretty much the next bullet could finalize this round. coldzera has been in clutches like this so many times in the past. He definitely wouldn't write him off. That grenade not going to do enough to coldzera to kill, and coldzera comes out and claims onto Rush. Huge clutch for MIBR.
I don't know if maybe Rush's vision was kind of obscured by the nade from that smoke, but it seemed like he had the right read, just didn't take the shot right at the end. Nicely done from coldzera, but again, the clock winding down. That was a sketchy scenario for MIBR. They do have their second. Really favoring that front of the bomb site plant with that smoke down. You can see they've used it in multiple ways, not only to stick that plant, but also to help give them cover as they boost over. Then Cloud9 looked to respond immediately afterwards. Still a very solid buy for the defense. 3 AUGs and SMG. AWP on automatic. Only 1 kit though, that's a little bit frightening. Fallen's got an op of his own this round.
Gonna have to see if he can implement it. In terms of his spawn, not exactly the greatest, but MIBR train up to T-steps. This time it's going to be 3 players strong. Similar idea, exchanging grenades. Molotovs and HEs. It's actually Cloud9 that come out worse for wear. And Kiyoshima is the player to start to make the wraparound. MIBR flirt with the idea of banana, but they're actually going to be pushing mid pretty aggressively. That smoke may stall them. No, it's not. This is the flair we were looking for. This is the aggression that we were looking for from MIBR, but it's backfired. They've lost 2 players in quick succession. It could be a third, but Taco, entry with the UMP, breathing life into round 8 for the Brazilians. Meanwhile, Fur, close range, watching, anticipating the rotation. Automatic is the player. He's going to be coming up against him. Perfect crosshair placement. Yields the frag, and now they must know that B is ripe for the taking. But there is going to be another rotation. This time it's Zelsis through mid. Instantly down banana. This could really catch MIBR off guard. Taco's the first to fall. I don't think Zelsis saw the second player in library. Otherwise, he'd have stuck around. And still, and amongst all this chaos, there's still 45 seconds left.
There are so many weird timings that are happening in this round, depending on who sees who at the right moment. I don't think any of these players exactly know how to read where their opposition might be. Fur still hasn't left library. And if Rush can find safety at the end of these holes, That might be the best play for him. Also, Zelsis not playing inside the B bomb site because Fur is going to head in that direction. Look at the time, though. Again, Zelsis is going to hear the footsteps, not only of Fur, but of Coldzera as well. He's going to know exactly where to look. He knows what's coming. That should be the round. I don't think there's time for Fur, and Rush just has to survive. Stay away from the... And Zelsis is just going to win it himself. 6-2. The clock is betraying MIBR.
Excellent hold from Zelsis. Great decision-making at the end too, putting himself in prime position to fend off the push. But yeah, I mean, the time really is becoming almost a sixth member of Cloud9 at this stage.
But it's by choice of MIBR.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is crazy to think about. Making this run, you're giving up so much information. Obviously, Zelsis had gotten that kill at the A-bomb site earlier. Maybe they just didn't think he'd be here, but really, really good play from the rookie. Probably not a whole longer that I can call him a rookie. Certainly after this major, you gain just so much experience. Automatic still with the AWP. Lack of head armor last round caused a lot of quick deaths on the Cloud9 side. Kiyoshima went down to the UMP very, very fast. Rush, the only one missing head armor this time. But actually, Cloud9 has a misread. They think it's going to be the B-bomb site. Rush is alone at pit, and Flusha is very much out of position. Great shot. Can he follow it up? No. Taco gets it with the CZ, and Flusha with an SMG has to play it passively. Has to wait for his teammates to get back. Still an advantage for Cloud9, but you have to imagine MIBR is going to be able to pick up an AUG in the pit.
And a bomb plant too. So now Cloud9, they're going to have to make inroads back. It's pretty one-dimensional at this stage. They're going to have to split up. All pushing through the same side can really play into the hands of the UMP, the MAC-10, the Deagle. Fallen's going to be using that Desert Eagle on the stairs. Flusha peeks slowly, but gets the better of him with the MP9. And with that death, a huge chunk of possibility goes with it for MIBR. Here come the CTs reclaiming one-on-one stairs. Phelps, MAC-10, not able to get it done. Coldzera meets the same fate courtesy of Zelsis, who's really stepping it up here on Inferno. And Cloud9 are going to take a 7-2 lead. It's going to be close, but I think they've got the defuse under wraps. They've got it done.
Yeah, but that was close enough to be a little bit worrisome. Nice try from MIBR, just the one kill, which is probably a bit frustrating. They wanted more out of that, more damage to the Cloud9 economy, but a great retake. 2 kills from Zelsis on said retake. I was surprised, MIBR, even with the smoke to go in towards small pit, they never felt safe enough to get out of that bomb site in towards pit, where Rush's AUG was just kind of laying in wait.
That's a worrying stat. The bottom fragger of Cloud9, which is 7, 3 of them share it, is still higher than anybody on MIBR. Nobody from MIBR is really fragging out right now.
This has been a very rough start to the offensive half for MIBR, and they're back to pistols. 4 Deagles, 1 CZ on Phelps. No armor, no utility.
Oh.
But they've got headshots. As we've seen previously, those Deagles have been very, very impactful.
Throwing the AK away, making sure MIBR can't get their hands on it. Also, forces the hand of Cloud9 to wrap around Flusha, who I believe just took a dig through the walls, which is why it did such little damage. Phelps, in the meanwhile, going to be a casualty of war from the MP9. And although things started a little bit sketchy with that Fallen 1 tap, it seems like normal business has resumed for the CTs. Although there's still 2-2 formation, so this would effectively be a 3-on-2 push.
Rush is going to get tested again. He's had a lot of bodies, a lot of attacks thrown in his direction. This time a little bit out of position. 2 players swing out. He's not in cover. He's trying to get back, and he's managing it so well. Even just surviving at low HP and letting Automatic pick up the baton from there. 2 kills for Automatic down the stretch, 2 for Rush. And an 8-2 lead for Cloud9.
Yeah, couldn't capitalize on the 1 deke delivered up banana. What do you think's the play here, though, Moses? Because, I mean, MIBR, other than a bit of early success, have just been completely repelled.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, I'd like to see them be a little bit more aggressive. I really dislike this way they've slow played so many of these rounds to beneath 20 seconds. Even the round where they did fast. Once they got into a little bit of trouble, they just kind of hit the pause till late. Ooh, here's a play and a half. Rush, he just looked away at the wrong moment. That timing is really unfortunate. He would have had Fur dead to rights. It's going to force Flusha to rotate back. Same with Automatic as with the AWP. He's going to wheel around. Completely blind as Kiyoshima. Zelsis goes for the trade, but again, MIBR just gets back into safety. That's the last smoke that Zelsis has at this B bomb site. He does have a Molotov, but the entire map is open for MIBR.
Certainly is. Flusha may get a call to wrap around. Oh, he just used his smoking boiler. I was going to say he still had one. Could have maybe rotated and thrown that into Banana to help Zelsis out, who may decide to go aggressive, knowing it's going to be a plethora of grenades lined up for B momentarily. Now Flusha's made a move across. Bulk of the CTs reside on the B side of the map. And MIBR, they can sense it. They're going to start to pull back slowly but surely.
Flusha and Zelsis either need to get aggressive when this smoke fades. Actually, and there's the pop flash from Flusha for Zelsis to peek down Banana. He sees absolutely nothing. That means they have to get on their horse right now. Automatic. It's not possible with an AWP for him to hold this entire bomb site. Taco's going to be lurking out of the halls. 25 seconds left. Automatic needs everything he possibly can. He's missed. He's down low. Zelsis is here. Flusha is here, but is it enough time? The no-scope isn't going to land. 18 seconds, and Zelsis can do nothing to stop this.
Tons of damage inflicted across the MIBR, but Zelsis himself is so low on health he can't feasibly get anything done. May try and set up for some exit frags, but it looks like MIBR will get their third round. The first in a few. And yeah, Zelsis is tapped out of this, as he should. In terms of the money situation, with his save, they'd be fine.
Yeah, he'll be able to, if he keeps this gun, which is not guaranteed. There's the first, not going to expect the second. He does eventually go down. So scratch all that, and he's going to be stuck at 2,600, but they're still going to be able to buy. Everyone else will have a full investment. They'll have the AUGs, they'll have the M4s, they'll have utility. Zelsis can get utility in an upgraded pistol, maybe an SMG passed over to him. That was tough. Rush was looking for that exact play from Fur and just looked away a half second too early. A great round for Fur down the stretch. 2 entries onto that A-bomb site as well. 8-3.
Even though it's been a rough half so far for MIBR, they win this round. This is their chance to really start to get some rounds together. They can string them. Cloud9, they're on the balance, on that tightrope, and they could fall down. Phelps going to assume control of Banana once again. Plenty of grenades, one of which has just been tossed in. Doesn't really do a great deal to Phelps. And here comes Fallen, trying to jump around the corner. Needs to be careful, Kiyoshima's there. And Kiyoshima will strike with the AUG. This is why it's so powerful. It can counteract those kind of AUG peaks.
That's a super dirty off angle from Kiyoshima as well. Was in danger of sliding into the crosshair. Here's a pop flash deep. Phelps is going to eat it right in the face. That's just going to allow Zelsis to get an AWP and fall back. That means they can just plant him at the car. They can plant him at the entrance to the B bomb site. Rotate 4 over to A. They need to get there quick. MIBR's lining up. 40 seconds left on the clock. Flusha in the site. Rush in the pit.
Utility used from Cloud9 has been so good on this CT side. Smoke instantly wrap 2 players around, maintain the player advantage. It's going to be so hard for MIBR to get anything done. They're going to back away again. 25 seconds left. They are going for broke. They are rolling the dice and saying B is the site of choice, but here comes rotation in the meanwhile from Cloud9. They could be running into a trap. There is no time left. MIBR have got to go in. Zelsis has been tapping. Here comes Kiyoshima, spraying through the smoke. It's down to Zelsis. How many more kills can he get? The answer is none, but here comes Flusha. Double spray through the smoke. Coldzera tries to do some damage on the way out, but Cloud9, they've picked up a 9th.
As soon, I think Keo must have heard it on rep side, but as soon as that call came out from MIBR, Flusha pushes lane, gets all the information needed. It's a complete evacuation of Cloud9 at A. They all get here just in time. And another situation where MIBR, because the clock is so low, they have no time themselves to rectify anything. They have no times to fake plant. And they stall out again. 13 kills for Flusha. Zelsis is next up with 11. But this defense from Cloud9, they're giving so many different looks to MIBR. They're not shy whatsoever from rotating a third player towards B, using utility to get information, to get aggressive and try and find a kill. A lot of trust in And Rush and Flusha to be able to defend this A bomb site with just 2 players. And maybe a lot of confidence that MIBR isn't going to be very decisive when attacking it.
But the previous round wasn't so clean that Cloud9 are out of the woods just yet. Their economy is still up in the air. MIBR know it, hence the force buy with the AK-47, bunch of pistols alongside it. It could still do damage. There is still a possibility of 6 rounds on this half for MIBR, which would have seemed like it was light years away just a couple rounds ago. Flusha alone, flick on Phelps. He can back away. Hasn't used the grenade just yet, though, so the counteractive play could come in. Flashbang, and MIBR again, they're slow.
We had a big conversation in the last game, Vince, about resurgent performances of Flusha and Get Right and Forest, but Flusha, another one. Towards the end of his tenure in Fnatic, looked like a shadow here in Cloud9. He has been so phenomenal early on. Rush is going to recover. Taco not able to get the entry, and more importantly, MIBR not able to properly time that hit. Fur eating nade damage behind this smoke. Less than 10 seconds left on the clock. Good find from Rush, and Fallen has an AK-47, and he just has to save.
I would love to know the stats of how many times MIBR have tried to push a site with 15 seconds left.
It would be impressive.
It almost feels like every round. It's unbelievable. Even that round you're talking about, when the 2 teams kind of switched positions, it was this really weird 2v2. MIBR was so slow in making a decision. It does feel like indecision at this point.
Which is very interesting. That's not the MIBR we know. But as we said, they're going to struggle at times too, getting this lineup, this old new lineup, to work together properly. Going to take a little bit of time, but early returns, at least on Inferno, is not ideal. The real, I mean, even beyond that, and maybe this will change when we get over to the CT side, as the T side can be tough at times. But you know, we know these guys for the aggression of Fur. We're not seeing that. We know these guys for the brilliant mid-round calling and opping of Fallen. We're not seeing that. And just the Terminator-like ability of Coldzera to just find kills no matter the situation, and we're not seeing that either.
Zelsis, again, claiming control over Banana. I mean, one thing that SK, now MIBR, used to be very good at, though, is holding on for dear life and forcing it into overtime and making these crazy comebacks. So on the CT side, all may not be lost, but they're going to have to get there with something to play with. Coldzera aggression through the Molotov, but Kiyashima answers back with a double spray with his Orc. And the round has been laid to rest. Cloud9, 11-3.
Oh dear.
This is going to have to be one hell of a comeback, Jason.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see when we switch sides. At the moment, though, this defense from Cloud9, they're doing a very good job of getting aggressive together, of peeking together, of flashing for each other. This has been the Cloud9 lineup. This is the way they played when they impressed people at E-League. Not the way they played at the start of Challenger Series. That was a little bit head-scratching.
The trajectory of the Challenger stage for Cloud9 reminds me a bit of G2.
Yeah, it was very similar. It was just like, what the hell are they doing? Into, okay, they look better in their qualifying games. Can they keep it up? Oh.
The timing.
That's frustrating.
At least gets the smoke out and couldn't pull away.
That's awkward as well. He ran into the wall. That's a great shot to hit. And now he's got Flusha to back him up. Smoke in place. Bomb is down. A gap in that smoke as well. Almost connects the shot anyways.
MIBR at least did try and turn up the pace, but it's too little too late. Cloud9 have built up way too much confidence, and automatic, his close-range AWPing is sensational.
It is a thing of beauty. So is Flusha, 18-7 for him, leading the way for this Cloud9 defense. They've got a 12-3 lead over MIBR. We'll see if the Brazilians can turn it all around in the second half. And we're back. A 3-12 half for MIBR. They are a 9-round deficit. Another comeback perhaps in the books for the Brazilians. Also, welcome to the mainstream to all of our B-stream viewers, as the initial 4 matches from that stream have concluded a little bit ahead of us.
Yeah, we had some close ones. We had some nail-biters. This has been anything but close, though. But if anything's taught us about the classic Made in Brazil / SK lineup, comebacks, they happen pretty often.
Yeah, they do a good job. This will be interesting to see if they can make this one work early on in this lineup's, I guess, revival. They got a long way to go. Got to start with this pistol round. Zelsis, Rush, and Keo going to make their way up mid very fast. Zelsis eats a teammate's flashbang. It's all right, though. No one is here. And already the smoke's landing before they're in the corner. They're already in CT spawn. Fallen knows it might be a possibility. He's looking for the information, but Cloud9's not slowing down. They're going to wrap through library. They want to hit the safe bomb site. And actually, all of MIBR has rotated towards lane. They're out in the open. They're not in cover. Stunning shot from Zelsis. Flusha needs to clear this corner. They know he's here. This is a dominant round from Cloud9.
Any hope of a comeback had to start right here, right now. Fallen and Fur have already been put against the wall. Fallen's had his kneecaps blown out down to 15 health. And this round's pretty much done already. May as well just save the little that you have.
It's a simple adjustment in that strategy from Cloud9, but it causes so many issues for MIBR because MIBR had the right play to make if that was actually a B split. And everything they saw looked like a split towards the B bomb site until they finally saw one of the Cloud9 players. And because they wrapped through library, just being in lane, they're out of position. There's no cover, there's no way to get into safety, and there's no way to react as a unit to what's coming at you.
That was a really cool play to actually send Zelsis out through Arch, around the back of library, completely catch them unaware. As you say, they were caught in no man's land around Arch and Quad. And this is where things went from bad to worse. Rush, headshotting both Taco and coldzera. Cloud9, 10-round lead. MIBR on the brink of quite an embarrassing defeat. I mean, it's not necessarily losing to Cloud9 is one thing, but this hard?
Yeah. You know, it happens sometimes. Important to say as well, one thing we saw in the previous major, and one thing that a lot of people have kind of estimated is a real possibility, is these teams coming in with legend status might struggle a little bit early on in their first few games back, as the qualifying teams from Challenger stage have been able to play a little bit more and kind of play their way into this tournament. Important to note as well, I don't believe MIBR has played any officials this year. They didn't attend any of the early 2019 events. Only been practicing, so literally this is MIBR's first official game since Portugal last year, and that was obviously a completely different lineup.
Well, they're going to have to warm themselves into this game quickly if they are to stand tall and deliver a comeback. First been Molotov out, may very well peak after that one. There's a flash into peak, nothing really gained in the process. Cloud9 already backing away. Automatic eats the flashbang, but Fallen eats AK-47 rounds. And with his death, B-site is that much weaker. It all rests on Phelps. He does have an MP9, but he's all alone, and no one's close.
Hit it over. I don't know if Flush is causing a distraction. He's going to see two. That's going to be the ghost of the Cloud9. Zelsis leading the way, and the MAC-10 wins that battle. Into the bomb site we go, and MIBR, they have one kit on Fur. Just very little utility, and they're just going to give this up. They know they need these weapons for the next round. So, 14-3 will be the scoreline. Cloud9, it's Flusha, 18-8, Zelsis, 15-8, Rush with 14, Automatic 13, and Kiyoshima with 11. We still have the same situation as in that first half, Vince. Keo is the least frags on Cloud9 at 11. The most frags on MIBR is coldzera with 10.
And it's the same state of affairs when you look at ADR. Automatic, about 70 ADR. Highest is coldzera on 67.5.
Yeah, that's not a winning recipe, is it?
Or at least in the last round, that's actually... The discrepancies increased since this last round was played. That's how dominant this has been. I mean, sometimes you'll get sort of 13 threes. There's been a bunch of clutches, bunch of back and forths. This has been as dominant as the scoreline suggests it has.
Yeah, there's no sugarcoating this one. This is a complete and utter dismantling of MIBR by Cloud9. I mean, the super nice thing for Cloud9 is you don't have to play a whole lot of this T side. If you just close this out quickly, 16-3, you don't have to do any kind of grinding. You don't ever have to play. I mean, they've never had money issues. There were a couple rounds that were close to being reset, but nothing too crazy. Here we go. Round 18. MIBR hoping to show a little bit of fight. Phelps and Coldzera playing on each side of mid, one in lane, one on ramp side. Taco on the balcony.
It's a nice little juicy bonus as well for Cloud9. You don't have to show as much of your hand. Team's trying to demo you after this. If you don't see that many rounds, it's kind of hard to base it off anything.
Yeah.
That being said, Cloud9 not going to show any mercy to MIBR. They continue to press forward. Coldzera, though, is going to claim the first kill of the round. It's the only UMP in play, and he's been tagged down to 4.
You imagine he'd swap that over?
Yeah, I think so.
Taco in the pit with him. Maybe allow Taco to be the bait. Coldzera with the UMP and only 4 HP, just ready to pounce on it. Out in the open, that's Phelps. That's not ideal. Overextends on ramp side. There is a player, Kiyoshima, pressuring towards that B bomb site. Bomb is actually down in alt mid, so Cloud9 has to be careful. 40 seconds left is plenty of time, but Zelsis is the only one near the bomb. He's going to pick it up. 30 seconds now as he has that in his hands, and he's just going to run back to the B bomb site. Kyo announces the location of 1 as Rush closes in.
Kyo does get smacked in the head for his troubles. 20 seconds now. Cloud9 looking to acquire the B site. 3 making 4 kills. In about a second sees Cloud9 with 12 match points.
Oh dear. Well, MIBR at least has an op-out. That's going to be in the hands of Coldzera. 1 AUG on Phelps. But Cloud9 just have so many rounds to play with. They can win in so many different ways. Their win conditions at this point in the game have just skyrocketed. Oh, don't take it out on the chicken.
I thought Coldzera was picking up the AWP based off his spawn. He had a very good spawn for mid, but he just seemed to decide against it. Heavy presence on Banana, but no one's there for Cloud9. These grenades not going to get any return on their investment. Meanwhile, Cloud9 again aggressive. This is something we simply did not see from MIBR. These flashbangs on point. Coldzera will be able to hold the line for 1. Misses his second shot. Still, the player in pit is smoked out. Can't help him out. And that means that Coldzera gets overran. Kiyoshima opens his account with 2 more frags. And Taco's been moved out of position. He's been one of the shining lights for MIBR on pieces in this map. But is he able to go any better? Fallen's going to help him out with a kill. Still so much time left for Cloud9. They're actually going to dart away the bomb. Automatic says, screw this noise, I'm off to the other side.
The bomb was actually left in alt mid again. Now, Zelsis knows there's 1 in pit. He can keep him there. Fallen, I imagine when this plant goes down, they're going to realize it's not A pretty quickly. Fallen's coming to the smoke. DM4, Zelsis not looking, trusting the smoke to his detriment. Automatic, though. Surely they will never expect this. And MIBR split up. This is very uncharacteristic of this Brazilian core, of the Brazilian style of CS. And Taco, there's not much of a hope. No kit. There is a Molotov on Automatic as well. He can play this to perfection. Taco's going to be looking towards CT spawn. Tap of the bomb, not defusing. Automatic going to get an easy one. Double tap. Taco's down. And MIBR, they came out flat. 16-3 victory for Cloud9. Dominant from start to finish. Flusha ends with 18. Automatic up at 16. And there's not really a whole lot you can hang